Greg Powers, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and I'm out here at the AT&T State Championships, joined by my friend Mike Roach at 24/7 Sports. Mike, thanks for hopping on to do some instant recruiting reaction here.
Yeah, it was a fun game, a big matchup between Duncanville and Northshore, and tons of recruits all over the field.
All over the field, man. I got to start with the offensive MVP, Caden Durham, because they were out of the gate so strong because of his long touchdown runs.
I thought he was going to set a record in the first quarter.
Yeah, no doubt.
I believe 30 seconds into the second quarter, he had 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, he was incredible. His speed is what sets him apart. 10-2 at track, and obviously a big reason why LSU wants him.
Yeah, you could see that speed, and he showed, some toughness in the middle of the field tonight. I think that was one of the things that a lot of big national recruiting sites were wanting to really get a close look at in this game, and I think he passed the test.
Yeah, I would say for us, can you run between the tackles? Can you make speed cuts? Do you have contact balance? It's a huge part for us, and I think he showed off a lot of those things.
Colin Simmons walks away with defensive MVP honors for the second straight year, leading Duncanville over Northshore. After this, he's got some All-American games and stuff coming up, but then he's going to be heading to Texas, and I think they got a good one in this 5-star pass rusher.
Yeah, I think he had 8 tackles, 3 sacks, a forced fumble. I mean, he is. You and I did a piece for Valley Sports. He is that. You called him a terror. I called him one of the best pure pass rushers I've ever seen, and he was exactly that, man. He was just undeniable out there.
Yeah. I think he's probably the best pass rusher that I can remember Texas signing in quite a long time. I don't know if I really count. Jackson Jeffcoat, I guess, was a pass rusher. He was a defensive end, more of a traditional defensive end. I like how Colin pins his ears back and uses that speed rush to be a terror. Younger guys to watch at Duncanville, man, a lot of them, and we'd be here a long time talking about them, but Zach Turner, he's been on the rise, getting a lot of offers, and he had 2 touchdowns in tonight's game.
Over 100 yards as well. I mean, the question is, what is he, right? Is he a receiver? Is he a tight end? He's somewhere in between, but, football is moving to this thing of where let's find bigger athletes and we'll figure out how to use them. They don't need to be as in traditional roles, which is a big reason why he's picked up offers from the Texas, the Oklahomas, the A&Ms.
DeCorian Moore. He's the #1 wide receiver in the state and the #1 player. We got him rated as the #1 player. Can't remember all the other recruiting rankings always off the top of my head. I think you guys do as well. He's DeCorian Moore.
Yeah, #1 receiver in the country for us, actually.
Okay, so even better.
Actually, #2 in the state behind Devin Sanchez, the guy who covered him tonight. But DeCorian Moore is special. He's been special since we first saw him as an 8th grader. I mean, he's got elite speed, elite ball skills. He does everything. That guy checks boxes. So the LSU commit, talked to him after the game, and sounds like some other schools still in there. Oregon, Texas, Florida State now making a push. So I think committed to LSU, but I think it's going to get interesting moving into the spring.
You mentioned Devin Sanchez, so I guess we'll just go ahead and turn the page to Northshore. He's the #1 rated recruit in the state on y'all's service, and he's a freak too. His decision's coming up, I think, on January 6th at the All-American Bowl, where you'll be.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he's Ohio State, Alabama, A&M has been in there, but, obviously with the coaching change, we'll see how that works. But I think this really comes down to Ohio State. That's a school that's made him a priority from the beginning. They've really been after him. And when you look at him on the field, Greg, I don't know if this was your first time seeing Northshore this season. Just eyeballing that guy, you see NFL written all over him, right? Just length and explosion and fluidness and all those things.
I get concerned when I see a guy that's so tall on the island, but he really sinks his hips well, can transition in and out of his cuts very seamlessly, and he's a big-time dude for a reason. There's a reason why these top programs want him. He's that type of guy, and it wouldn't be surprising to hear his name called on the first day of the NFL draft in that top 32. That's at least his upside and what I hope to see one day and watch him, walk on the stage during the NFL draft. Caleb Bailey, the quarterback for Northshore, a dual threat kind of guy, but he had to show a lot of heart tonight. That Duncanville defense is really tough, but he kept trying to rise up to the test and lead his team back to victory.
Yeah, hasn't quite looked the same since coming off the knee injury from last year. You could tell on a couple of those runs, just a little, it's not all quite back yet, right? Maybe another offseason benefits him there. But I do think that there is a lot there to like from Caleb Bailey. If you're a school, there is dual threat ability. I think he is an advanced passer. He throws it with touch. He throws it with timing. He throws it with understanding of how to get guys open. And I think those things are all valuable.
Christopher Barnes and Dion DeBlanc were both amazing at wide receiver. Dion DeBlanc had probably the catch of the weekend, I would say, on a long catch over the middle of the field where he dove down and just barely pulled it off the turf. And Christopher Barnes is explosive athlete with, again, another guy with tremendous speed.
Barnes now back on the market after recently committing from North Texas. I think he could be one of the exciting late cycle races we see. He was awesome when I saw him earlier in the year. I just love his quickness. I love the juice he plays with. His short area, he's really tough to get a hand on. I think he showed that tonight. And then Dion DeBlanc, when you talk about him, it's a guy that's working back from injuries, had some lower body injuries, and I think it's hobbled him a little bit as well, but he's got some of the best explosion when he's fully healthy.
Quickly passes the eyeball test, DeBlanc does. He's a guy that immediately stands out. National recruiting analyst Mike Roach for 24/7 Sports. I'm Greg Powers. Keep it locked on TexasFootball.com for all your coverage at AT&T Stadium. The state championship runs.